So then if we go to this one here, over here, which is what, I don't know, 25 past, 20 past. Somebody said I should use a clock. So it's 20 past, right? I think, because I don't have my glasses, so I can't see, but I think. That's the realm of the Preta? Is that the realm of the hungry ghosts? Yeah. I can't quite see, but I think that side is animals, so this side must be Pretas. Thank you, love. They look like penguins to me. Oh, I see. I can only see their hair. I can't see their bodies. So it looks like a lot of penguins on a beach. I see. No. Now I see. They've got bodies. Right. Yes. Yeah, so these are the Preta, in Tibetan, the Yida. And these are considered to be hungry ghosts or unsatisfied spirits. The cause of hell realm is mostly anger, hatred, and the cause for the Preta realm, the hungry ghost realm, is greed and craving. And so iconographically they're shown as having very, very narrow necks, like a hare, and then huge bloated stomachs. And there are various kinds of Yidak, but the basic idea is that they're always hungry, but they never can get anything to eat because their throats are so narrow. Some of them have flames coming out their mouths, so everything they try to eat turns to fire. But in general, the idea is that they're endlessly starving, but these huge stomachs like mountains, but there's little necks which, even if they can get a small amount of food, it makes no difference because they're just endlessly craving. However much they get, it never can finish. So this represents greed and the craving mind, and is born from it's considered to be the result of the kind of mind which is endlessly greedy and very, very selfish, that doesn't want to share anything with anybody and is endlessly trying to accumulate, and never wants anybody else to have anything, or wants to, like a miser type of feeling. So the Tibetans, and maybe others, do a lot of pujas for these beings. There are certain prayers and mantras which can be said and rituals performed, which allows them to then take on some substance and to be fed, because they feel very sorry for them. The Buddha said that greed is like salty water, that the more you drink, the thirstier you get. That, we can see it in our modern day society when everybody, I mean, it's true, we all live, even the simplest of us, better than emperors in the past live. All our modern facilities and all, our even just the plumbing system, which is so superior to anything in the past. And, the luxuriousness of beds and furniture and transport and the comforts which we take for granted, which in the past would have been just astonishing, and even the Emperor of China would never have had anything so luxurious. And we take it for granted and think it's nothing, and still want more, and more, and more, and more. Look at all the shopping malls, full of things which are absolutely no use to anybody. It's a good thing about shopping mall. I mean, you can go past all these windows and think, my God, look at all this stuff that I couldn't possibly want. But somebody must want it, because there are more and more shopping malls and more shops full of more and more things. So it's this endless wanting, and feeling discontent. Never content. Content is a bad thing. Because, if you're content, then you won't want anything more. And if you don't want anything more, then who's going to buy all these useless things? And, then the whole economy will collapse and everybody will be out of work and it's all your fault because you were content. So the idea of being grateful, the idea of appreciation of what we already have, Luang Lama Mingyur Rinpoche, he advised his students to every day think of 3 things to feel appreciative about. Just the fact we can see. I mean, that's astonishing. Imagine if tomorrow you were told you were going blind. What would you think? You can hear, taste, touch, think. The air. I mean, if you lived in Delhi or Beijing, the air here, the sea, the sky, the wonderful trees, the birds, people smile. They say hello. Hiya, mate. So much to appreciate, to be grateful for, to counteract this greed in the mind, this wanting more and more and thinking if we have more and more, we will be happy, we will be satisfied, because nothing will ever satisfy. However much we get, we always want more. If you're a multi-billionaire, you still want more takeover bids to get more. It's like a fever, So these hungry ghosts exemplify that mindset of however much you get, it's never going to be enough. You always want more. You always have to have, you're always hungry. You're always hungry, and however much you get, it never can satisfy this inner hunger, which is endlessly there, waiting to be satisfied, waiting to be satisfied. So this is traditionally exemplified, as I say, by these preta, these hungry spirits, who are depicted as often wandering around. Even at the time of the Buddha, there are accounts of them standing at the door, looking in as he's being offered dana, lunches, and the Buddha then says certain things to help them so that they can partake of the smells. Also, they can help them with by just smelling. And so it's a state of mind. It's a state of mind that people get into, that they're endlessly running, looking to fill up that inner hunger, which they don't recognize that it's a black hole. However much we get, it's never going to be enough. How can it ever be? It's a black hole. And so it requires a whole revolution in thinking to recognize that actually what we have is already more than enough. And to turn from thinking, if I could only have this, I will be happy, to, look, I already have so much, let me share. I sometimes, what's the time? We've got a few rounds to get through, but we'll get through. As an anti-Yidak, as an anti-Preta story, of one time I was in England with some Sufi friends, and they had this little boy who was about 4 years old, and someone had given him a box of chocolates. And so he was just overwhelmed. In all his life, nobody had ever given him a whole box of chocolates all to himself. And he was there with this box of chocolates. And so his father said, offer one of your chocolates to the nun, me. No, they're mine. And so his father said, yes, of course they're yours. That's why you can share them with others. And the little boy thought about that. He was only 4. And he opened them up and he insisted everybody in the room took a chocolate. He was just so happy. It's true. These are my chocolates. I can share. And so that is the direct antidote to this hungry ghost mentality, is to share, to enjoy generosity. Generosity is the first of the paramita, of those qualities, enlightened qualities needed to become a Buddha. The first is generosity. And it's this because it lets go of our ego tendency to cling, right? And to say, this is mine. The moment we think, all right, this is mine, therefore I can give it to somebody else. Isn't that lovely? Then the whole thing changes. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, how to deal with these negative tendencies of the mind, which cause so much problems for ourselves and others. And one of the ways is by learning the joy of sharing, the joy of giving, rather than accumulating. And that is the antidote to this kind of yudak mentality, this preta mentality, of endlessly being unsatisfied and discontent and wanting more and more, to recognize we already have such an abundance, and a lot of it's free. The beautiful air, the beautiful water, the beautiful trees and birds, you don't even have to pay. It's all there, given by nature. And to appreciate. And so thank you for that to nature. How beautiful. You are very blessed to live in this beautiful continent. Appreciate. And share. Look at all you have and think, do I need all this? I mean, most ladies have, enough clothing not just for this lifetime, but several lifetimes ahead. Do you need more? So, this yudak tendency is dealing with being very, endlessly longing for more and more, and never, however much you get, feeling satisfied. Always feeling that it's not enough, it's not enough. The more you get, the more you want. And, this is what is depleting our planet. Right? I mean, up until relatively recently, the planet was, perfectly happily producing as much as everybody needed and more besides, and everybody was happy, and it was, there was enough. But it's never going to be enough to satisfy our totally unsatisfactory, unsatisfiable desires. And of course, Asia is getting caught up in this now. So that before, if you had a little field and a cow and, a house, then you were happy. But now you've got to have a television, you've got to have, iPhones, you've got to have computers, you've got to have refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even in India now, even villages. And when you marry your daughter now, you have to give all these things along with your daughter. You have to give all televisions and, washing machines and beds and furniture and jewelry, and just you're not selling a slave. You're having to pay somebody to take her. It's very strange. I never understood that. I think in Islam, they pay for the bride, right? In India, you pay somebody to take her, which is very weird, considering she's then, you know, a slave for the rest of her life. I mean, it's very odd. Anyway, as a result, I mean, in all over Asia, as well as all over the West, everybody's expectations, desires are becoming more and more and more unreasonable, and the planet cannot sustain. And so this, again, is the Preta complex. However much we get, it's never enough. Because, you know, our stomach is huge, and we're never going to be able to fill our stomach. It's you know, however much we put in there, it's nothing. And there's still this huge yearning, longing, must have this, must have that. Oh, look, wow, we've got to get one of those. It's endless. So this is the Preta complex. It's not just a matter of having lots of hungry ghosts around, but we're the hungry ghosts. We're the hungry ghosts, and we're destroying our planet as a result. And you know, the thing is that our society is encouraging that, with all the advertisements and all the sense of, you know, if you're anybody, you've got to have this, you've got to have that, you've got to have something else. And, you know, we're destroying ourselves. Isn't it interesting? We're really not very intelligent. Okay, so I think at 2:30 we're supposed to have a tea break. Because we still have another 4 realms to get through, please be back on time. Don't become too much like Kratos and drink 2 cups of tea, only 1.